Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Stacy's here with me at the anvil, and we're going to be talking about what's going on in Germany with their energy debacle. We got some stuff going on in the U.S. with people screwing with the power grid. There was like 170 counts.
107 last
107.
year. Yeah.
That's really nutty.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. And there's some facts about uranium that I did not know that Stacy looked up. She took the time to look it up and check it out. So we're going to talk about those things. And we have a sponsor today, and I'm so thankful to the sponsor. I'm going to put the ticker up here, Traction Uranium. They're a small company. I want you to look at them and just know that they're in the Saudi Arabia of uranium in Canada. So we'll get to them. They're in the Athabascan Basin. Just if you want to, just check that out alone, and it'll say a lot. So let's just keep going, and I'll get to them in a minute.
Well, let's talk about your favorite girl, Greta. Let's talk about her.
How dare you?
How dare you?
She showed up in Germany.
I should be in school.
I should be back in school.
When I wake up in the morning,
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
She should be in the nut house.
So Germany
in
right
jail.
now, man, they've got some issues. Well, you guys have all seen it in the news. They've got some issues. They shut down their nuclear plants. So now they're struggling with energy. So they're having to reopen some of their coal plants. So they're destroying a village, and people are protesting and upset.
So they made them shut down the nuclear deal.
Yep.
Okay. Well, where are you going to get energy?
Yep.
We're going to have to up a coal production. So, well, they don't want to do that either. This is a story I got off Zero Hedge a couple of days ago called "A Big Green Mess in Germany." Coal provides a staggering 31% of German electricity production, up 8% from 2015. The green weenies forced a shutdown of nuclear power under Angela Merkel. Now they are both for and against coal, the dirtiest of all electrical power sources. The police are they're in the middle of a riot right now. There's protesters there. There's a village. They're
Destroying it.
It's actually a village that's been evacuated a long time ago, it looks like. It was a condemned village in western Germany that is due to be demolished for the expansion of the coal mine. Some stones and fireworks were thrown as officers entered the tiny hamlet of the village, which has become a flashpoint of debate over the country's climate efforts. Now, the environmentalists are bulldozing the village to expand their nearby coal mine, would result in a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions. But the government and utility companies say the coal is needed to ensure Germany's energy security. Yep. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And what I think is going to happen is inevitable is the only green energy will prevail. The cleanest, the safest, the greenest, you name it. Nuclear.
Yep.
That is going to prevail when the lights don't come on.
And
People are going
that's
to say,
gonna require
okay,
uranium.
enough's enough. Yeah, that's right. Enough's enough. And we're going to have these small power plants that generate electricity for a city. And you have another power plant that generates it for that city. And, you know, it just makes sense to me. I think hopefully we'll have cars that run on uranium one day.
good night, future boy.
No, wait, Doc.
Use it, and look, they use it in natural gas fields. They used it on my welds every day. They'd carry a little X-ray, little pill out with them and a big lead thing. The helper always had to lug that heavy thing around, and they'd wrap it one end around my weld. They'd get 20 foot away and run the pill out, and they would do the X-ray, and they'd run it back in. I mean, we're using it now.
Yes, that's one of the top reasons
And
that they say
I've
they use
never seen any hazard. I've never seen anybody get too exposed, or yes, there's hazards, and most of that really, really bad stuff happened back, in the 70s.
Right.
Old technology, and I think in this day and age we could really do something that's safe, green, efficient, safe, all of those things. But let's keep going. I want to hear what's going on in the U.S.
No, it's true. Exactly what you said. You just nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. And that's something I think we need to look at because we're so vulnerable here. I mean, just within last year, we had 107 attacks that we know of by the people that live in the United States. Now, we're not talking about, across the seas that they're attacking us also, which that's also a thing that's sort of a concern. But our electric grid is so vulnerable right now. And they were talking about it, and they said there was physically attacked, we're not talking about cyber, 107 times. They said this has been the most in more than a decade. They're like, come on, you guys, let's think about this. If you cannot have electricity, you cannot have water, you cannot have heat, you cannot get your credit cards, you cannot have cell phone, you cannot have internet, you cannot buy anything. Everything is on electricity. Everything. Hospitals. You go to the hospital, what are you going to do? Nursing homes. I mean, every single thing. And I don't think people... a guy
They'll be
that
running
came
on
out,
backup generators. They'll be running on a reliable fuel source, diesel fuel. That's exactly what the hospitals and,
but that's
or
that
natural
can
gas or
only happen
propane or one of
but
those
that can
other
only
ones.
happen so long.
Oh, yeah,
At
sure.
some point, you've got to fix your electrical grid. And so I
agree.
think this last December, this showed this with all the things that came out with this last year of all the physical attacks. And then when we had December, we had the bad storms or whatever come through, that it showed that our power grid cannot handle. They were asking people, say, hey, please, conserve your energy. Please don't use your washing machine. Don't use the dryers. Don't use the dishwashers. I mean, that's how fragile our electrical grid actually is. And I think that has proved it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we are right now. So you just talked over and over about how that's where we are. They just said over and over that, hey, our electrical grid is on a really bad place.
Yeah, and look, we're not against green energy at all. Windmills are great. It takes a ton of resources to build them. 9,000 pounds of plastic and so much concrete, and this just unreal how much fossil fuels it takes to actually build a windmill. But, that's cool. If you can use the wind to make electricity, that's great. That's cute. Solar panels. I really like solar. That's really cool. Good luck charging an electric bus on solar panels. Good luck doing all the things we actually have to do, with energy. Creating heat with solar panels. Heat takes a lot of electricity.
It does.
It's like a direct short. And, we're just not there. And like I said before, the only green energy I know of is nuclear.
Well, I want to read this quote, and I want to tell you a little fact that I found on uranium.
Right.
It said, this is Tom Waller. He's an executive vice president for the Center for Security Policies. He says, our modern civilization depends on electricity. He said, therefore, the electrical grid is a prime target for a wide variety of bad actors, both foreign and domestic. And that's where we are right now. And our electrical grid, as we have shown, is just not, we're just struggling to keep up. But uranium right now, so you got it with nuclear, we talked about this, you got to have uranium.
Yeah.
So I started doing a little research, and I was like, what about uranium? Where was it actually, was it discovered? It was discovered in 1789. That's how long ago. It was by a German chemist. His name was Martin Klaproth. If I said that right. He named it Uran after the planet Uranus, huh?
I think you said it right. Go ahead.
I tried. We'll see. Give me credit for trying. But for many years, uranium, it was only used primarily as a colorant for ceramic glazes and for tinting. And I looked that up, and they did. They would use it for, on ceramic stuff. They would use it for photograph stuff. And it was a green-yellow color, but you could only see it under a black light. I thought that was interesting. But they didn't realize it had radioactivity properties until 1866. And then the potential use for energy source was not manifested until the mid-20th century. But it's the pure uranium. It's actually a silver metal that it just oxidizes right into the air. Mm-hmm. So they said if you use it, you should handle it with gloves.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
I would like to move on and talk about Traction Uranium. Because I want you guys to look at this company. Like I said, this is a low market cap.
Right.
This is a small company. It's not like a Uroy that's worth $250 million. This company's worth $20 million, give or take. This is what I like to call an asymmetric bet. High risk, but it's also high reward. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I say that in every video because I'm not, and my timing is awful. That's the deal. Yeah. But this company is in the Athabascan Basin. That's known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. Well, they have a ton of it. This is a venture opportunity, the potential for a world-class uranium deposit in the heart of the Athabascan Basin. I mean, this is, it's an opportunity. That's the way I look at
map.
these things.
It's really cool. When we pulled up the map and we were looking around it and all the mines that were surrounding around it, I was like, I didn't know that existed. That was really interesting.
I agree. Eric Sprott's invested in it.
Yep. He's one of the, not the founders, but he's one of the, I think, high-end investors. Yeah.
Probably an insider, I would think. But maybe he's a high net investor. I'm not sure. But insiders own 55% of the company. Institutional investors own 30%. Okay, so he's an institutional investor.
Yeah, so 55% are stock founders and partners, and 30% are institutional, and Sprott's one of them. And we like Sprott, so.
Yeah, we've been involved with Sprott for a long time, and watch Eric Sprott. He's pretty good at this stuff. Now, the lead technical advisor, his name's Bowen Tan. Mr. Bowen Tan has been in this industry for a long time. I really like to watch the directors and the geologists that are in charge. What have they done? Where have they been? And Mr. Tan was instrumental in the Key Lake discovery of uranium in the same area around Athabascan Basin. Was a 200 million pound deposit. And the company couldn't be happier to have him on. I looked him up and checked him out, and it seems that's what you want. You want somebody with a ton of knowledge about it to bring it over to a new company, and hopefully they can, do what they do.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things when Chris and we look at stuff, not even just for companies like this, but everything that we do. We look who is involved, like who are the board members, who are the directors, who, I think that's good. That's kind of one of the takeaways that we do.
Yeah, and the ticker is TRCTF, Traction Uranium. They employ a novel vectoring technique that was pioneered by Dr. Yanming Pan. Now, I looked all over the place to try to figure out how this vectoring technique works. I couldn't really find much on it. It's very interesting, but Traction Uranium is really happy to have him on because he's been in this field for a long time as well.
Well, I think this technique is pretty new because I looked it up also. Because Chris and we kind of do our own research sometime, and then we come together and we talk about what we found. And there's 2 ways you can do uranium right now. So I don't know if this vectoring is a new way. It's a third way. I don't know. I tried to look it up also, and I couldn't really find a lot about it. So I'd be really curious to see what comes out. But
yeah,
they're pretty excited about it. Whatever this new technique is, they're pretty excited about it.
But start looking around at the Athabascan Basin. That's a really neat deposit, and we're going to need uranium in the future. And you need to be where the cleanest, the easiest to get to is, and it seems to be the place. The more I learn about it, the more I like it. The more I like investing in things that are over there. So, guys, have an awesome, awesome day. Check out Traction Uranium. I'll put them in the description, and I'll pin them in the comments. Thank you for being here. Later.